Hi, welcome back to Smallholding. So I'm just going to check the swarm that I caught last Saturday. We're Tuesday today. I just want to see how well they're building the comb, because obviously in this national nuke, even though they're on top bars, they will build square comb. So I want them to start, but I want to move them into the top bar before they start building it too flat, because then I'll have to reshape it. So I'm just going to have a little look, see how they're getting on after a few days. They do tend to fly away to begin with. One little bit of comb on there, quite straight, which is good. That's the one problem you have with top bars, is keeping the comb straight. So that's the first bar. That's got some good nectar in there, and it's nice and straight. So I'm thinking there's probably enough. Come on, girls. There's probably enough to move them into the top bar today. Yeah, I can feel the weight on there's some good comb there. So rather than disturbing them anymore, I'm going to put them into the top bar, I've decided. So what I'm going to do, because I had a swarm call this morning, and I've been out just up in the village, the local village, one of my customers, and I've shook a swarm into my skep, and I've just left them, come back down here to do this. So I'm going to put these bees into this top bar that I got ready last week, and then the new top bar that I built, I'll put the swarm into this afternoon. I'll put them straight in there. I've set that up this morning just after I caught the swarm, just next to the camera here, so that's all set up and leveled. So I'll have 2 top bars going by the end of the day. Right, let's just put these over here for a minute. And I'll tell you what, there's some weight in there already. On top of the other top bar for a second. So this is one of my original top bars, with the holes in the centre. And 2 follower boards. So I just tidied it all up, checked everything was okay, and got it all set up. Some of these top bars have seen better days, but they're still firm, still strong. And all these top bars are 34 mil, and then I've got 42 mil honey bars. Right, so I'm just going to transfer these now straight into the top bar. Just check quickly that you can see that okay. Just move the camera down a bit. I'll actually just move the nucleus over to this side. Some nice straight bit of comb there. So that's the hardest part. That's, I think, thinking back to when I did a lot of top bars, I think it was the cross combing which really sort of got me and was probably what made me go back to nationals, but I keep coming back to it because I just love this sort of natural way of keeping bees. That's looking pretty straight as well. It's important with the top bars that you never try and turn the comb so that it's horizontal. You always keep it in its own sort of hanging vertically. If you try and turn it, if you're holding a bar and you try and turn it that way, it'll just snap straight off because there's no support. Come on, girls, move down. Sometimes I always keep a bit of smoke just because it just gets them back down. If you've got them sitting between the bars, it's just easier to get the bars back together. Another nice little bit of start comb, and again pretty much smack on central in the bar. So what I'm going to do the first probably 2 to 3 weeks, come on girls, get in there, is I will check these twice a week just to try and catch any comb crossing as early as I possibly can. So that's the end bar. There's not really anything on there, I don't think. Tiniest little bit that they're just starting, but again, smack in the middle. So that's perfect. Right, so that's the 5 bars that were in the nuke. Now I'm not going to add too many more bars. What I will do, because they're building nice straight comb, I'm just going to put 1 more bar each side. And I'll leave them probably a week from this first move before I check them again. Then I'll check them every couple of weeks, just every couple of times a week, just to make sure. Actually, that bar is a little bit warped. Could be one from my hives that got a bit wet. Right, so that's 2 new bars. That follower board's tight up that side. I'm just going to open this follower board up. I'm just going to knock these bees out. Little tap down. And just tip them in. Just make sure the queen isn't left in there. Right. I'll just put that underneath and they can come up into the top. So I'll just get these moving from this side and I can move the follower board along. But they're working their way up. You can see them coming up to where the combs are. So I won't video the whole thing. I'll just give these a few minutes and they will work up. You can see they're all now scenting the pheromone to bring the bees back in. So I'll just give them 10 minutes, and as they move back up into the comb, I'll move the follower board along, and then I'll put the roof back on and just let them settle down then. But they're doing really well. Those combs are nice and straight, so it's a really good start. That's always the worst thing with top bars, like I say, is getting the first lot of combs straight. If they start to cross comb, it can be a bit of a nightmare to try and correct it. But once you've got some straight combs like that, if you just add the odd bar to the outside with a follower board or between two other nice straight combs, they tend to carry on building straight combs because they haven't really got anywhere else to go. If you've got two straight combs or one comb and a follower board, then they can only really kind of go straight again. So it's just manipulating it a bit when they're sort of starting out to try and get a good, I like to try and get between 8 and 14, say, brood bars before I then start adding some honey bars if I see they're getting an excess of honey. But yeah, that's a really good start anyway. So we'll come back. What I'll do is in the same video I'll bring the swarm down later on this afternoon, provided they stay in the skep, and I'll introduce those to this other hive to the side here as well. So we get both those done today. Right, so while I was letting those bees settle in and move in, which they've kind of done, they're just needing to learn now that where the holes are in the front there. I just whipped up the village and picked up the swarm. They'd all gone into the skep. There's a few buzzing around, there always is. You always end up leaving a few behind. So I've just plonked it on top, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to literally shake them in. I'm leaving 5 bars on there, but it's a similar size to the nuke. That seemed to work quite well, so hopefully they'll want to get started too. A few of them have already started moving their way in, but I'm just going to shake them out now. That's all the bees out of there. So you can see, even though there's a few on top, they're already starting to walk round and go into the shade, which is what they always do. And the ones that are in the bottom are starting to walk up and go to the bottom side of the bars as well. So this is the new hive that I just built, and I haven't built like a proper lid for it. I basically just cut a bit of ply, which will just sit on top with a couple of bricks. I've given it a good couple of coats of this green fence paint, and that'll just do for now. I might make a lid like the others that hangs over at some point, you know, ready for the winter perhaps. But for now, for the summer, that will do. So it's just a little bit of a waiting game, probably 10 or 15 minutes while they just all go up and under into the shady bit, and I'll slowly move the follower board along as the ones from the bottom move in as well. These bees look slightly more of an orangey colour than mine. You get different variants. My bees Like I say, I don't check them or anything. I just leave them to it, and they seem to have just gone sort of into a very dark black bee over the years. Yeah, these are definitely more of an orangey colour. So there might be a little bit of confusion because this hive here is obviously, I've just moved the top bars in there, and they're all giving off the pheromone to come and land. And of course, some of these bees may get confused and end up going in that hive, but if they stay in that hive, it doesn't matter. You know, they're both new swarms, so it's not really going to matter too much. This swarm was a bit smaller, in all honesty, but hopefully they'll set themselves out by the end of the day. And hopefully if I come back tomorrow, these will have stayed. You never quite know with swarms, they will just disappear sometimes. You know, you think you've got everything just lovely for them, and why wouldn't they stay? And you come back and they've just sodded off. You know, it just happens sometimes. You just can't let it get you down. You just got to keep going. But hopefully they'll stay, and this will give me 2 nice new top bars for this year. I have got one more. This one here. This is a design that I made all my top bars to originally, with the side centre entrances and Varroa mesh floor, and they're just 12 inches deep, 4 foot long, 2 follower boards, and just an overlapping roof. An overlapping roof like that, but this one is starting to fall apart a bit, so that needs a bit of tarting up. But that's one more hive that I can rescue. There's one over the back there which is busted, and I've got 2 others that I actually turned into strawberry troughs. I took them home and planted them up with strawberries, so they've all completely rotten now. They're beyond hope. Yeah, so hopefully by the end of the year, if I get another swarm, I will need to make some more top bars. I've just had a count up of all the top bars that I've got, and I've got enough for 14 brood bars for each of these top bars and 4 honey bars. So I'm a little bit short, but I'll make some more bars up. I'll get some timber and make some more bars up, and I'll make enough for this other hive as well. And I'll get some felt on the roof, and I'll repaint it and get it all sorted and ready to go. So maybe by the end of the year, I'll end up with 1 national and 3 top bars. But my national, I did do a little trial trying to get the bees to build in honey into jars, direct into jars, because I'd seen it online, some guy in America, and it looked quite cool, but it didn't really work. I did melt a bit of wax in the bottom of the jars, but it still didn't get them building in it. So I took them off, and I just put a super of top bars on top, because I actually use top bars to harvest honey off my nationals now as well. They do tend to fix the comb a bit, so you have to use a long knife or a wire and just sort of cut the combs off, but it does work. So that's what I tend to do. So yeah, I'm gonna have to build some more top bars for sure. Come on in, girls, let's get moving. Yeah, working their way in now. And obviously this one is an end entrance. So just talking about entrances, most people will recommend the side entrance, like this one here, because you can sort of assess both sides of the brood nest. But in all honesty, just trying to think, I built 2 hives with end entrances, and 4 or 5, however many I've built over the years, all had the other side entrance. The hives that did best were these ones with the end entrance. For whatever reason, I don't really know, but the end entrance just seemed to work better. Whether it's because I wasn't messing about with this side of the brood nest at all, I'd only ever work in from the back, and I'd go until I saw the brood. You know, provided you've got the straight comb, you don't really need to go in and mess about with a brood unless you have a problem. I've never really understood this. Oh, you must check every week, must stop them swarming. you know, must stop them building with their own wax. That isn't natural, and I like to keep them as natural as possible. And I know people will moan about that and say it's not the way you should do it, but being a bit of a sort of organic guy and liking things all to be natural, then I just tend to leave them to it. So provided I can get the comb straight, then I will just follow the back end of the brood, and if they expand, I'll expand with them. And if they're building honey, whatever honey they build in the brood nest is theirs. Any excess honey at the back is what I will take from. Some years I won't get any, but I don't sell honey. It's only for me, so I only need a few pounds, just, you know, for family and friends. And then if the brood nest starts contracting, I'll contract with it. So when I've got an end entrance, I only ever go in the back, so I'm never really bothering them. And maybe that's why it is they're only ever getting bothered from one end, and the main brood nest gets left alone. I don't know, but yeah, like I say, I've always had better success with an end entrance. So that's that. If I build any new ones, that is the way I will stick with it. So we're about an inch now from being fully closed. Once it's closed up, they'll then have to learn how to get in the entrance there, but it won't take them long. It's quite a nice sturdy one, this new one. Quite pleased with that. It's turned out quite well with them bed slats that I made it out of. Anyway, I'll leave these to it for a bit, and we'll come back when they're all in and get them all sealed up. Right, so they're pretty much in now. I've got to get out and do a job, so I need to get them shut up. So I've put the lid on this one. They're all in, nice and happy. Not coming in at the entrances yet, but they'll be in there just balling up and getting used to the new surroundings before they start freely flying. Just got a little ball of bees here on the corner, and a few behind the follower board, but the follower board is tight up now, so they can't get in that way. They're gonna have to go in the entrance, but there is a little bit of space under the lid, just over a bee space. So I'm going to just put the lid on, and I'll come back later after my job just to make sure they found their way in. So I'll just cut this piece of ply. Just cut this piece of ply just slightly bigger. A bit of an overhang front, back and side. Then just put a couple of bits of brick and an old pot with some cement in, which had a little mini Christmas tree in. And that'll just hold that on, so that the bees that are in there can come out in the gaps in the side here, so they'll find their way out and into the entrance. But yeah, so that's 2 top bars today going. One that obviously will stay because they've got comb that they built. These are still a little bit of an unknown. I could come down later today or tomorrow morning and they could have gone, but fingers crossed they'll stay. And we'll see how we go with this slightly shorter top bar than I usually make them 4 foot. This is 3 foot, but it is 14 inches deep, not 12 inches deep, like the rest of these. And all the top bars are the same. I make them at 17 inches so that they fit in my nationals as well. So I'll always use the same size top bar, so they're interchangeable between everything. I actually quite like these 3 foot ones. Provided the comb stays nice and stable, I may just make them a little deeper from now on if I make any new ones. But yeah, hopefully that'll be 2 top bars going, and I'll try and do a few more videos this year. I haven't really done many beekeeping videos because I've had a couple of sort of off years, lost interest a little bit. I'm always up and down with bees, but this year just feeling like I'm on it a bit more. So hopefully we'll follow the top bars through and see if we can get a bit of a harvest of honey as well later in the year. Just, you know, a couple of pounds for myself. I'm always happy with just a few pounds. But anyway, for now, guys, that's it. Hope you found that interesting. And give the top bars a try if it interests you. They're simple to make, really. I mean, an afternoon in your shed and you can have a top bar hive, and you know, way cheaper than you'll buy online for. But Hope you found it interesting, guys, and we will see you next time. Take it easy.